Recent headlines from leakers and Sony themselves imply very strongly that the PlayStation 6 will cost over $1,000 when it comes out, whenever that ends up happening. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show brave enough to say that consoles should not run for mother effing figures.
Too goddamn high. Yeah, more like PlayStation 6 easy payments with low interest, am I right? Gosh, we're going to be paying off this thing for the whole next console generation. Damn. They're going to be taking it out of my paycheck. What's going on, Brian? Why is everything so expensive?
Oh, so many reasons, Law Dog. But this comes from reliable leaker Kepler L2, who leads with the first blow in this 1-2 that's sure to put your bank account on the ropes. So way back in March, Kepler L2 posted their estimated bill of materials. So basically the sum total of all the components for the PlayStation 6 on NeoGAF.
Wow, at the time, Kepler estimated the PS6 cost around $760 to build, and then since console manufacturers historically sell consoles at a loss, Kepler figured that PlayStation could set a $699 retail price for the PlayStation 6. That's not so bad.
That's steep. That's not great, but it's still not bad, at least not by modern standards. Unfortunately, March was a long time ago, another realm entirely when it comes to component prices. Kepler provided a brief but very unwelcome update to their estimate over the weekend, posting, quote, BOM went up by $200 since I made that post. And due to some very complicated math, we can figure out that puts their bill of materials estimate at $960 just to build the thing.
Yeah, that doesn't include any other costs associated with the console, like the research and development invested in creating it, transportation costs, packaging. So based on that bill of materials and Kepler's previous estimate, it's tempting to hope for a modest $899, rather than a full $1,000. A nice frugal and slim $899.
Only problem is PlayStation 6 isn't coming out until at least late 2027, and component prices are only expected to go further up in the meantime by quite a bit.
Yeah, which has led some people to think it might get delayed, but that's not going to make it any better. And we have some executive kind of rumblings to basically say it's only going to get worse from here. In an open letter itemizing the woes currently facing Xbox, execs Asha Sharma and Matt Booty said they expected to pay 5 times the price for console storage components this fall compared to last fall.
Yeah, and electronics manufacturer Lenovo recently warned that storage component prices will never return to their pre-2025 prices, and that the current situation soon will become the new normal.
This is my favorite thing when companies says, oh, no, prices are never going down. Thank you very much. It turns out you control the price. And generally speaking, the components and all that, whatever, sure. In this case, maybe PlayStation will just do us a solid and heavily subsidize the PlayStation 6 to keep it under $1,000? Probably not.
Yeah, as a personal favor to us, the gamers, right? We deserve it. Unfortunately, yeah, probably not. Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Hideaki Nishino pretty much specifically said no to that in a transcribed Q&A published by Sony earlier this month.
When he was asked about his current thinking regarding pricing and affordability, Nishino said, quote, "It is not realistic for us to absorb all component cost increases, and, quote, we do not intend to sell hardware at significant losses." Whew, that's a big no.
I know, and then a bunch of people in our audience said, quote, "We do not intend to buy hardware at those prices." We'll see. We'll see what happens. Nishino actually didn't say anything that could imply PlayStation prices would actually come down either.
Yeah, also worrying when there's not even a vague allusion to prices coming down. He actually kind of said the opposite instead. He said, quote, "We believe it's important for us to make every effort to ensure that customers fully understand the value we provide. It's their job to make you want to pay $1,000 for it." And to that degree, maybe they have with some people.
Yeah, and when we combine a current bill of materials almost hitting $1,000, the inevitability that it'll go up before launch, and PlayStation CEO saying that they won't subsidize costs, it's done. I don't know any other way to say it. The PS6 will be over $1,000. All signs are pointing to over $1,000.
Yeah, that's a safe bet. Our only hope here is a complete collapse of the AI data center construction boom. I wake up every morning hoping that happened, and it never happens. And maybe one day, Kevin O'Leary will be really, really sad, and he won't be able to build his AI data center in Utah or whatever the fuck it is. Hopefully, one day.
I think a lot of people have their fingers crossed, yes. And then all those trucks full of RAM can drive to the PlayStation factory instead. If there's one bright spot, and there aren't many, but if there's one bright spot, it's that as the console generations have gone on, there's been diminishing returns, really, about each new kind of hardware generation in terms of what it can do. New consoles used to do these transformatively new games, these experiences you could only have because this finally does 3D. It's shit, but it finally does 3D. Now it's like, okay, you get better frame rates, you get higher resolution, but like it's weird that the cost is going up and the sort of the divergence of functionality is going down. So in a weird way, you're missing out on less by not upgrading. So there's never been a better time to not buy new hardware, kind of. There's loads of games still being made. With whatever the PS6 comes out with, it'll have like a token exclusive here or there. But it'll only be 1 or 2 games. There used to be hundreds of games in a given year. Now there's tens of thousands. So I don't know, it's easier to miss out on 1 or 2 games these days. And it's kind of hard to imagine, maybe this is my lack of imagination, but it's hard to imagine a PS6 that can do something so mind-blowing a PS5 can't do it. So I feel like with the hardware we've got, we're good for a while, right? And I think people have even said this in the past, like, you know what, it's okay. You can take your time with the new console because I got a lot of games and I like playing them right now. And I feel like it kind of fits that for the people who want 240 hertz and 4K or whatever a PS6 is going to do. They are going to be the enthusiasts, so they are willing to pay this money for diminishing returns of video game hardware. So in a way, it's kind of settling out like it should, but it's also not so great. Hopefully we get a lot of used PS5s on eBay that people can buy for super cheap if they want cheaper hardware to get into console gaming.
I really hope that we are reaching the upper level of prices here that people will pay to actually make PlayStation money. Lawrence and I were talking about before the episode the PlayStation 3. When they announced the price of the PlayStation 3 at $599 US, I'll never forget it because everybody memed it because it was so expensive. And then they showed Giant Enemy Crab and everyone was like, what the fuck is going on? That's what this feels like with PS6, right? Is PS6 is going to come out and they're going to be like, and you can play GTA 6 upgraded or whatever. And everyone's like, what? Why would we pay $1,200 for just an upgrade to GTA 6? And so hopefully the actual free market, even though whatever, free market in quotes, will correct. And we won't have to see a $1,200 PlayStation 6 staring us in the face for the next 7 years. That'll make me angry every time I look at it.
I just feel like that's going to be a cataclysm for console gaming because, yeah, I remember the PS3 too. And like, I think that I feel like the PS3 recovered. It had great games, but it got off to a much slower start than it would have because I think consoles are what people who want to save money, at least on the console end, I think kids are more likely to get consoles. So you're talking about parents and grandparents. They're not going to pay $1,000. They're just not. I feel like they're going to use their phones. They're going to use their iPads instead. They'll use a PC maybe, like the family PC to play games. I just feel like you're pricing yourself out of your own market by just charging a premium. And yeah, I do think that, like, I'm sure the graphics will be better, but I feel like we've hit the point, even the last generation for me, where it's like, these are fine. These are good enough for me. They don't need to be photorealistic, especially for $1,000 console and, I don't know, $80, $90 games or whatever they're going to charge. Like, it's got to change. Otherwise, yeah, it's just going to be something for enthusiasts. But I don't even know if it'll make sense if you can't get a good install base. I just think everything will start crumbling if not enough people buy it, and it just becomes this. I just don't think that works for consoles. They need a big install base.
It's a big worry. And yeah, the demographics are trending that way. Things are getting more expensive. And then I think what happens when you slip into the spiral is you start to make products geared towards the audience that can afford it. And then you stop even trying to appeal to younger generations. And then, yeah, you essentially lock yourself out. You have this kind of generational gap that's already happening. And I would rather like new people be onboarded and expansion and investment. It can't happen forever, yeah, I guess, and it never does. But I guess the one market to look forward to is emerging markets. They say China, India, basically. And yeah, those are places theoretically you could gain some ground with cheap consoles. But the humble Series S didn't manage to do that, and boy, it just became the laughing stock of the internet, at least in gamer circles. Though it's a bummer. Yeah, it's just a bummer all around. That said, I still am excited to see if it's PlayStation's job to do such an outstanding song and dance that it makes me want to buy one somehow. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the PR spectacle around the PS6 and how they can justify it being nearly double, perhaps double the cost of a PS5 at launch. That will be interesting to behold.
You know, it's also gonna be really fun, and I can't wait for the Console Wars Revolution, Console Wars 2, because Xbox, if you remember, Xbox 360 gained ground against the PlayStation 3 when they released, because they released at such a high price, and the 360 was like, what? Got a bunch of great games, and we're cheaper. Project Helix does have a chance to do that. Now, I know the same components are also really expensive. We're probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of $1,000 for the Helix, but the Helix could undercut the new PlayStation by quite a bit. And if they come out with everyone's favorite game protagonist, Master Chief, and a new Halo for Project Helix, or just some other game that is good, then they do have a real chance. They do have a real chance to actually be competition. I don't know that they've been put in the ground fully yet. I hope not. I really do, because I love seeing competition, and I love when companies compete for our dollars. I'm looking forward to that if it happens.
I would love to see a return to those days. It does feel like an opportunity. They're Microsoft. Sell them at a little bit of a loss. Even if they just sell theirs at $850, everybody's like, whoa, what a great deal this is. And I got the new Halo or whatever, and it's good. Like, that would be fucking awesome. Like, I hope that I am hoping for that too now.
I like how the constant disclosure is that this exists in a world where the Halo game is good. It has to be good. Please just make a good game. Yeah, we'll see. Elder Scrolls 6 is a Helix exclusive. Yeah. One of these days we'll see it. We'll be there. And then then the console wars will really start flying, and we'll be here. God willing, we'll be here to cover it. If you're still watching, we'll still be here, and I'm looking forward to it. Back to the days of good old drama. Gosh, as everything in this world gets more and more expensive, we are so appreciative that you're willing to watch it. Like, hey, we've been able to keep the price of the show the same over the past 6 years or so. So thank you very much for watching. Some folks even support the show directly through Patreon. Somehow, in this crazy world of everything getting more expensive all the time, we have some direct supporters, and we'd like to thank them now. Thank you, Matt Bogenberger, BB Prime, Jessica Hatfield, Reximus128, and Keita White. Keeping the lights on in the Inside Games newsroom. It's awful depressing, yeah, when the lights go off on Brian, because he hasn't moved in a few hours, so. But at least they still turn on. The dark days have left us behind. So thank you very much. We'll be here to cover the ongoing console wars. We hope you join us for that, and we'll see you next time on Inside Games.